Hello there, Carm3D. I'm going to make this video for my students because I promised them I was going to show you how to add a material to your model. We went over body paint and this was a mystery left over from the class session, so here we go. I just added the sphere. I'm going to select some polygons in the sphere, like so. And also I want to point out that in window customization, I am in body paint UV edit mode. It's possible that this is doable in other areas too, but this is where I am right now. And so in this corner, which is also my scene, it's showing the sphere that I added, I'm going to go on the Materials tab and set Create and say New Material. And you can see it starts out, it's called matte, as in material. I'll just call this red top. And I can go in here and go to the Basics tab and edit the material, basically. Okay, so I've made a red material as basic as can be. I will now go into Function and choose Apply. And there you go. The material has now been applied. It's pretty simple. Okay, so the rest of this video I'm going to cover in a very quick way the application of body paint. Because so many people were out of the class, this is for you guys. I'm just going to show you the basics of body paint so you can know how to texture your model. And of course when I say texture, I'm talking creation of a color texture map. I'm not talking the ins and outs of materials. I might as well, while I'm here, point out the difference between the texture and a material. The material is the group of polygons, like these red ones I selected here, that you can give a name and give it all sorts of parameters. You can change the color. Oh, that's color. You could change the specularity. So if I wanted to give this as blue specularity, I could. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but I just did it. I don't know if you can make that out. The highlight is a little bluish now. Illumination, if you wanted to be bright like a light bulb. All this type of stuff, but that's materials, or as some might say, your surface settings. But what we are going to be doing next is editing a color texture that you can apply to the color channel. So all this stuff like color and specularity and reflection and all that stuff is a little more on the rendering side. And while the color texture also affects how it renders, it's a different kind of animal. And that's primarily what we do in body paint. So, on to body paint. So I have my guy loaded up here. He's got his UV map already. He comes standard with a material, the default material right here. And I guess you can edit your material and stuff in the standard layout. I am currently in the standard layout, and you can see the material show up down here. Click on it, and you get all your options there. So anyway, I'm going to go into my body paint mode, customization, and the window menu, layouts, body paint, 3D paint. Okay. The first step is, I believe, is to select which texture we're going to use. So you can see right here we're in the standard view mode. If I click on the texture tab, this is the texture which would be showing the UV texture, but it's not there because it's not selected. Oh, well, that's simple. Show UV mesh. Okay, I didn't do it that way in this class. I dragged and dropped, but that works too. So back in here, I'm going to choose the 3D brush icon here, enable 3D paint mode. Choosing a color. I cannot paint yet, so something is amiss. I know it's amiss. We need to tell where this texture goes. So let's look at our material again. Is that it? I think that's it right there. Now, we need to assign this texture to show up in the color channel. So I'm going to go to the color tab of my material, and here where it says texture, I'll say create new texture, and I'll just stick with the default name there. This is where you set the resolution of your texture. I would recommend keeping it square. In other words, both of these numbers would be the same number. And as I mentioned in class, you should set these zone numbers high as you can possibly be without crippling your computer, because typically you paint them in high res and then you scale them down to whatever you need, so they look cleaner that way. So that's good. And you can see now the look of the model is shifted, which is a good indicator that we are now able to paint. So here I am in 3D painting, and I can paint directly on the model. And I'll just briefly cover what I went into detail in the class. Is the issue with 3D painting is this here. The brush nozzle is changing size as it drifts from one island of polygons to another. As you can see, there's a hole in the nose and the rest of the nose is here, and so that's what that effect is. And so if we choose projection painting, we can now paint in a very 2D manner, and then when we hit apply, it pastes it into the UV as it was here. So there are times you may want to use the 3D painting, but I think the projection painting is more valuable in most scenarios, because you don't have the issues with the seams. It's just a slower process because you got that extra step of hitting the apply button, or if you simply just rotate your screen, it'll also apply. Alright, so just quickly, I'll touch on the materials. I'm sorry, the swatches. Here's all your swatches you can pick from different colors. And of course, there are textures down here. So you can use a tiling texture, and that is also in here when I click on the color tab, texture paint. So you can load from disk and load your own textures for like skin texture or beard texture or whatever. So that's the basics. Those of you who were in class, we went into greater depth, but this is just to make sure that nobody gets too far behind, and I'll see you next time.